Hey guys, Thomas Sicily Jr. here, aka Mustached. I'm here to review 10 Cloverfield Lane. So, this movie trailer, when I saw it, was probably one of the more fascinating trailers I saw this year, as it didn't really reveal too much of what was going on. But it did have the name Cloverfield in it, and it wasn't a found footage film, which made it a bit more intriguing than the original. And even though I really enjoyed the original, I figured this sequel will probably not be as good, maybe. So I went to go see it, and in the end, I found the movie to be pretty good, actually. There were some moments here and there that probably could have been changed up, but it's all good. So this movie features Mary as Michelle, and Howard is played by John Goodman, who's a pretty good actor. He's probably the standout, and he's also sort of this overprotective, he wants everyone to stay downstairs in this little bunker because he thinks that this whatever it is contaminated. Whatever's happened has contaminated the air. They're talking about this attack, and there's one other guy with them, and they're just awkwardly trying to get through this. And the woman believes that Howard is onto something, so she starts to devise a plan to gain the trust of the guy, and they start to bit by bit try to figure out how to escape. And Mr. Goodman is doing what he can to. He sort of catches them off guard once or twice in the movie. And probably the most tense scene is the scene where they are playing this game of, I think it's like you're supposed to. I don't know what the name of it was, but you're supposed to like guess the name of the thing that they're talking about. So he was doing this like sort of intimidating thing for like the two words Santa Claus. Like he's like, "Oh, I know what you're up to," and the two of them assumed that he was talking about their little plan to escape. And as more and more tension grew between the three, he did discover some items, and he pulled out the chemical barrel that had some sort of acid in it, and then he shot the guy, and Michelle was freaked out and no longer wanted to be there. She had enough. She already had a lack of trust even from the beginning, and even though at certain times she felt calmed down, she was also starting to see when she went through these vents that Howard was hiding something. It didn't really go into what that something was. So I noticed that on the cover here it says monsters come in many forms, and I think that's supposed to allude to the character of Howard. You know, this character who's so overprotective and then becomes sort of this loose cannon type character. And she does eventually escape, and she discovers that there's nothing wrong with the air. But then the other monster sort of reveals itself, and admittedly, the ending of this movie was probably the weakest part. This second monster, or this whatever it was, I didn't see it too much. I mean, it seemed like a claw type monster that was in the air or something. Um, you don't really get too many shots of it, but the shots you do get, the monster isn't really as tough as the original Cloverfield monster, as it's easily defeated by this one cocktail. I mean, for the first original Cloverfield monster, it had to be shot through all these missiles, and it was being attacked constantly, and it was still going. So this monster did seem a lot more smaller in scale. Or, I mean, it was big, but it seemed a lot easier to defeat, which was probably, which to me was a bit disappointing. I was sure that they were going to show a bit more of that, but most of the movie does take place within the compounds of the house and or the bunker, I should say. And the characters are really good here, but it kind of falls flat at the end. So even with that, I'm still gonna give this movie a 6 out of 10. I think it could have been a solid 7, but there wasn't much of a need to even call it Cloverfield, in my opinion, as I feel the monster aspect is so, as far as the actual monster that's outside is concerned, it's so limited and so. Uh, I mean, you only hear things from the inside, so when you actually get out and see it, it's very limited. And I guess in a way that sort of works for the first Cloverfield, but I mean, you get a clearer shot of that monster, so it would have been interesting to see a bit more of this monster, like a nice shot of it. But I didn't quite get that here. But overall, for a horror movie that's built on tension, it really does succeed in that aspect. And you kind of want this woman to escape because you start to see that there's something wrong, and you start to see that this Howard guy is hiding something, and that is something you don't really get to see in a lot of horror movies, being a character you sort of start to connect with, and I really appreciate that aspect of it. So that about covers everything that I think that happened in 10 Cloverfield Lane. Will it continue? I mean, the ending does imply something may happen, like there might be something more, as she hears this radio station, and she's told that there's another place that could use some help and something along those lines, and she sort of goes in that direction. Other than that, it's a pretty solid movie. So yeah. With that being said, I'm Thomas Cecilia Jr., aka Mustache Tom, and I'll see you guys next time.